Aforementioned, the 2011 YouTuber famous for Dead Papa. Now, I just want a brief discussion on voice work. What is voice work? Voice work is a very interesting concept of manipulation of the voice to produce somebody's accent or tone. A good example of this would be, I really don't approve of anything you say. Frankly, it disturbs me. Or equally, I do approve of what you say. It makes me smile, you know? Or equally, Stuart Little. You know Stuart Little from the film Stuart Little 1998? Or go book, that's what you want. Or Snowball. Voice work is an interesting concept to films, especially in stop motion. Stop motion being one of the harder ones to produce for. Jeez, Gromit! Because sometimes, that's what brings a Lego figure to life. The best way to train yourself is to take the most hardest to understand languages, such as and assumingly this does become harder when it comes to accents. Compare the meerkat.com. Simple. Alright, that's done over now. So basically, voice work is Alan Cruikshank, the old referee who hates number 6. Oh, but number 8 now, because they can't confuse that man. And that's what you have to understand, that to produce the voice authentically, you've got to look at age groups here. From Her Majesty the Queen, who is in her 90s, to Alan Cruikshank, who's 67. To Chris Smith from the Team VIP whom nobody recognises. It's always good to know that. And of course, Stuart Little, who's meant to be an 8-year-old mouse. Or Snowball the cat. Or the Joker. You know the Joker. Another interesting fact in voice acting is if you're just sole voice actor, how do you work around it? And I think really like this scene from 2006, which was me when I was 15. If you look for the leather jacket and Manson t-shirt, you have found me. But sometimes it is a very confusing world in anything. Pronunciation is key, rather than non-pronunciation, like Brother Frank. If you are to present yourself as his character, you are to be very profound in your words, and very well spoken. If you are doing Don Warrington, you have to be very pronounced with his accent. It is very London, but slightly more African at the same time. A bit of a hard one, isn't it? You try and figure out the accent, but sometimes you got to figure out those accents properly. Otherwise those accents go absolutely tits up, and that's what you don't want, because that would ruin your film. And therefore, if you think of voice work, that's in a nutshell. Ta-ta. Now of course the creation of the Glenrothes ones, the aforementioned series, is rather interesting. Right. The creation of Glenrothes ones was very interesting. It started life as a series of Glenrothes food bank. Now, I'll lead on to this for 3 very good reasons. The reason I did this was I wanted a series that stood out from its original intention. And that was a series that outmarked the originals. Better. You see, the Glenrothes ones started life at Glenrothes Food Bank, Glenrothes, where I volunteered in their coffee and kitchen for 3.5 years. But then, Edinburgh came up, and everyone lapped up Joyce Eyre. They wanted to see more of it, and that rolling pin. And like any good old Scottish comedy goes, you can always guarantee the Scottish will make you laugh. Even if she is the boss. She is the boss. I'm referring to Rolling Pin, of course. As I do some silly nonsense here in my mouth. Now, obviously, the whole point of it is, when it came to Celtic FC, you got the name wrong. If you look at the badge in all the openings, it's SFA. But of course, being on YouTube, you can't use SFA. I don't think anyone really looks at the Scottish Football Association at any given point to figure out what it's actually called. So I took on the most impossible task in my life. I do not watch football on TV. I do not watch sports on TV. I don't watch fuck all on TV to do with sports. Not even tennis. Not even Andy Murray. So I don't even support that. That's my honest opinion. Now, Celtic FC, I should name for SFA. Of course, I do play in a team, but an amateur team. And that's where the minifigure comes from. You could always take a guess. But he's a funny one, isn't he? I love Alan. And yet, there's hundreds of more of them to come. Maybe thousands. I really said back in 2021, if I got to 150, I'd end it. And then I said I'd get to 200, I would end it. By the time I got to 1,500, I saw Peanuts coming. We all know Peanut, Charlie Brown, Lennon, Shooter. You know the greats, Gene, and even Lennon. I'm not repeating myself, but it's an example. They're the most memorable characters out there for cartoon strips, apart from that Calvin Hopes. And I wanted something like that. And I'm so glad I've got years of it to come through, so. And I mean years. You know, the funny thing is, I think comedy is subjective. As subjective as any comedy could be. Like a memory palace when you open the door to another door that leads to another door that leads to another door and long corridors. Just opening one door leads to memories, to a joke you could reference to from a sarcastic remark in your life. Or even more sarcasm makes it funny. It's a funny one that really, because comedy is so subjective that we mark comedy as funny, but to you what's funny is not funny all the time. Funny is only what you find funny, whereas I find things funny that are the most unobvious things. Now if someone falls over, our gut reaction sometimes doesn't help. But whereas if somebody told me a referee was called old, fat and bald, well, I can make a joke out of that. But most people would leave it at the referee being assaulted. No. Mr. Cruikshank will get you back. And that's the difference with comedy. He is funny. He is the best at every single sarcastic remark he receives. He will find you and he will always win. And like the referee, he will make you cry on the field. Process. The video editor has been something I've used probably since 2014. I've never really moved away from it because using the video editor is a lot better than Clipchamp. Now Clipchamp you cannot actually select all images, and that annoys me. When you can't click all images automatically at once and then you're forced to go for every single image, which sometimes it's 1,500 before you could actually time them all, you will always use video editor. If you want to find it, it is in your system, you just need to search it in the type bar. Go in your search bar, type it and you'll find it hidden. Believe me, as long as you repair it with software, you'll be fine. Now the process of stop motion is a rather interesting one. And like most processes, can be hard to learn. But everyone keeps telling me, it's so hard, isn't it? How do you do it? Adjust that minifigure, take an image, slightly adjust and take an image. Because believe me, you'll be so amazed at what you can produce. I don't like people to call it stop go. I call it stop animation. There's a reason for that. Although the other one was stop animation or puppeteering stop animation. Stop motion puppets are a clue in that one with the wireframe body on the inside of the clays or plasticine type materials that actually help them move. But you see, stop motion is just slightly adjusting an image, an actual figure, and taking a shot before the whole thing becomes a movement. And that's an interesting thing. Stop animation shouldn't be about how confused you are and how to do it. It should be, why won't you embrace it? I was doing this since 2009, which is as far back as I can remember from my first ones. And I think that's, after doing arts and autism in 2010, I was a drama teacher to FAD for 2 years, including 2009 to 2010. And I think what it is that stop animation is a great way of expressing if you're autistic and you don't want to work with other people. You could create a voice at the top of the hat and go, I really don't like this. Oh really, I don't really care, just want you to go. And you could bring those characters to life and, oh yes, I fool people into thinking it's different people. And that's what's great about it. There's a guy who still wants to meet Joyce Aird and thinks she's an older woman in her 60s. And I think that's great. But I'll never burst his bubble. That's just my honesty. Joyce Aird, of course, is permanently in a case. Poor Joyce. The rolling pin is the boss. And she's still in that case with her trademarked Heinz Beans tin as a tribute to where I volunteered in her office. Now, the funny thing is, I think it's fascinating how many people get confused, but I urge anyone to do stop motion. You'll learn a lot. You'll also learn a lot more patience. But if it's the only thing I can do, which music and stop motion is the only thing I can do, occasionally art, but I'd have to really be bored, or pissing bored with stop motion, which is effing hard. So, yeah, I just thought I'd end that here. But as a creator of Celtic FC, I'd also like to say that I'm also, believe it or not, although should have said FSA or SFA, but I think I'm just calling it Celtic FC now, so that's what it's worked. Also Barcelona FC, depending on if I was putting subtitles in. But yeah, the interesting thing is, I've also figured something out, if you're wondering. I figured something out by the end of this. That if I can make you laugh, then why can't you make me? You're bloody awful. You know that. I really don't like you. You really make me not laugh. Only joking.